Welcome to Around the Board, a show where four board game enthusiasts discuss board game topics and news. This is episode number 60, recorded on March 30th, 2025. On today's show, we're going to hit up Play Shelf Trade, all about co-op games. Oh boy. After that, we'll take a look at the new hotness, The Gang. How hot or not is it? We'll tell you. And then we're going to look at Powerball numbers. Not sure what's going on there. And then a brand new game called Survey Says. So, without further ado, your hosts, Daniel Connors. In for John, Kelly McLaughlin, and Chris Thomason, and then, of course, the idiot reading the script, Andy Barnett. Welcome to Around the Board. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Glad to have Kelly in the red square. I think this could be the first episode John has missed.
Oh, it may be. It may be the first ever.
Yeah.
It might be our best episode. Then it might turn out to be our best one ever.
Point. Haven't had this
Rude.
I know.
Oh,
John deserves it, though.
It's fair.
What have you guys been playing lately? Anything interesting?
No.
Played Lords of Vegas for the first time recently.
Oh, did you? Lords of Vegas is a fun one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's been taking forever for me to actually get to the table, but yeah, it was a good time.
I had never played it either till about 3 or 4 months ago, and I really liked it.
You guys liked it? See, I thought it was okay, but man, I'm telling you, games that just involve a lot of dice rolling just cannot be for me anymore. Like I don't have the temperament. Maybe I wasn't in the right mood. I don't know, but I'm like, man, if you got to roll a lot of dice and your whole like game kind of hinges on if someone else rolls well, I don't know. Doesn't feel great all the time.
So Daniel, I want you to look over to your shelf. You need to get rid of Cubitos then.
That's different.
Keep in mind that this complaint by Daniel is coming from a D&D nerd.
I know. It's a nuanced conversation, okay? If it's all dice rolling, that's one thing. I don't like the mixture of dice rolling and strategy, where a lot of my plotting and strategizing is foiled by someone else's die rolls. Like that doesn't feel as great.
So, unless you own the dice game, we don't like dice games.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, you do like the games you own more than everybody else's games. Let's be honest. Come on.
No, just calling on your mechanic issue there.
I got a game to the table.
It's only when it's actually dice and not the cards. Magically are different. Those are random, but a different kind of random. Apparently,
it's a different kind of random.
It's a deterministic randomness. You know exactly what's going to be in there, or at least a high probability of what's going to be in there. You don't know what a die roll could be. You could have 1 in 6 chance of hitting a 6, but you may never roll a 6. In a deck of cards, you know what's in there, and you will eventually hit it as long as you don't shuffle.
Not if you're playing Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, there's enough 400 cards.
Wow, that's fair. Well, what have you been playing, Andy?
Well, I finally got a Feld game to the table that I didn't feel. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I'm not shocked. Is it Merlin?
Care for it. It is Merlin.
Yeah.
It is Merlin. It was okay, but it felt very limiting. And most of Stefan Feld's games give you so many paths to victory and so many choices. This one just felt like, oh, I roll the dice, I do this. There's just not a lot of choices. Now, granted, I haven't played with some of the expansions, and I was reading on some of the BGG forums that there's a couple of expansions that are musts, like the Arthur expansion and the Queenie 1 expansion. So I've got to try those still. But the base game itself, I was not feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely one of his more different ones. I played it. I didn't like it. I've liked every Feld game I've played, but you're right, that's one I didn't enjoy. Though it is a rondelle, right?
It is a rondelle.
Yes.
It is a rondelle.
Now, is it a rondelle for more reasons than the board is round?
Well, it's interesting because the board is square, but it's also round.
Okay. The pictures I always see round, so I just...
Well, it is round, but it's on a square board.
I thought it was a rondelle just because the board is round, but...
So I don't know if you remember this.
Which is actually more of a qualifier legitimately than most of the ones he thinks is a rondelle. So
the biggest thing I can say about this game that was cool is that Merlin's staff looked more like Skeletor's staff from He-Man.
And that was in the same place at the same time?
I haven't. Maybe Skeletor is Merlin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like this theory.
So Daniel, did you play Merlin only that one time that
I
I
did.
introduced it to you?
Yep. Long
And
time ago,
I
many
do
years ago.
it was a very long time ago, but I do want to tell on Daniel that he was pulling a full Andy the whole game,
What?
complaining, say like just hated the game and wouldn't stop talking about it the whole game, ruining my experience. But
Oh
it's
no.
okay.
I'm so
I'm not
sorry.
salty.
I don't remember doing that, but I won't say that I didn't, because we've had some back and forth playing games, you and me, Kelly. So I'll believe it.
Did you say
But
playing games?
games, yeah,
Playing games. That's why
like this
people are
one.
here, right? Do you want to talk about anything else before we play the game?
No, why do you always fail
Okay.
the? You're the worst at segues.
You're the worst at segments. You're the worst ever.
I picked up what he was putting down.
That's right. It's time to play said game. Around the Board is all about playing 4 separate games, 4 different categories we're going to debate, and a behind-the-scenes judge will award points, and whoever gets the most points at the end will get to be able to talk about whatever the heck they want. So let's get started with round 1. Round 1. Fight! Up first, we've got Play Shelf Trade, and this time the theme is cooperative games, cooperative card games. So yeah, Play Shelf Trade, cooperative card games, and we've got 3 kind of unique ones here. The Grizzled, Sail, and Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game. And I guess I'll get us started. This one was actually kind of hard for me because usually I want to save a game that I haven't played to play, right? So I want to play Sail. I kind of want to, but I'm not going to in this case because I like Fellowship of the Ring and the Grizzled that much. The Grizzled will probably go on my shelf because I think it has long-term replayability and it's a lot of fun. It's really hard to beat. Fellowship of the Ring I will play again because I haven't played through it all the way and it was a lot of fun. However, I'm not sure it will stand the test of time as far as replayability once you get through it. And then unfortunately, I have to send one off, so I'm going to send Sail off, even though I never even got a chance to play it. So that might be to my my own demise, but that's it.
My real question is like, is actually the Grizzled actually that hard of a game? Because I know that we have played it wrong to where we played like ultra hard mode, which made it awesome. But actually, I've not played it by the correct rules, so I'm not sure. I actually don't. I'm not sure I have an opinion on the game because I'm not sure I've ever actually played the game. Technically.
Yeah.
Well,
no, that's fair.
What did you guys do different? What did you guys do wrong with it? You did something wrong for a long time, right?
Yeah, I don't exactly remember what it was, but I know we've played it on super hard mode. But after 20 attempts, we finally beat it, and that's a pretty exciting experience when takes you 20 times to beat a co-op game. Uh,
Right.
talk about a stand-up moment. I literally ran around the table in celebration when it happened. So you really work for it when you play it on hard mode.
Now, to be fair, I get criticized because I'm anti-co-op a lot. The truth is, I'm not completely anti-co-op. I just need a game that definitely cannot be alpha gamed. And
Yeah. And
none of
Grizzled is
these
good
really
in that regard.
fall into that category.
Yeah, because you can't talk about what you're supposed to be doing, and no one can see your hand, so they can't tell you, "Oh, why'd you play that?" It's like, "Because that's the only thing I could play. That's why I played it. So shut up."
Well, Daniel, what you got about Play Shelf Trade here?
All right, so man, I did not think about this ahead of time. You'd think that with enough planning, we'd actually think about this. So
Hot take.
You suck.
right, I'm gonna put Grizzled on my shelf because it's actually on my shelf. That's probably one of my favorite co-op games outside of kind of the big 3 for me, which is Gloomhaven, Marvel Champions, and Legendary. But I love the challenge of it. I also love how it kind of really exemplifies like that War II camaraderie that is going on. I think that's a really cool, unique theme. Oh, World War One. Sorry, World War One. And then my trade is going to be Fellowship of the Ring. And the reason that is my trade is because I got to play it once and it was fine, but it was definitely just a retheming of the crew. And I didn't think it was very original at all because of that. And my play is going to be Cell. It's a 2-player trick-taking game that my wife and I have just absolutely endured. We loved each one of our plays. It really gets us talking and strategizing together, which anytime I get my wife to actually strategize in a game and kind of talk through a game, like that's just always kind of an exciting thing for me because I could tell she's actually enjoying it. So those type things are what really gets me excited in those games. So that's my play. No, I love it. Cell is great. If you haven't played a 2-player trick-taking game, I think that's a great play. I know there's a couple out there, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's a lot of fun, and
Is
you
it
get
better
to
than
really
Fox in the
Fox.
Forest?
I haven't played Fox in the Forest, but based on the rise and fall of that game, I'm going to say yes.
Well, I
All right.
actually still need to play. They made a Fox in the Forest duel, which I'm not sure why that was necessary because the
Oh,
original game was just 2 to 3 players.
yeah, but it was co-op compared to competitive.
Oh, the duel is co-op. I
You might
see. I
actually
haven't
like.
played that
No,
yet.
the duel is competitive. Duel,
Oh, the
you're
duel's.
fighting.
Oh, no. The regular one's competitive. I'm pretty sure.
Really? Okay,
I
well,
think so.
whatever.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah. All right, Kelly.
Or
What do
somebody
you
fact check.
have
Yeah,
with
Kelly,
your
what do you got
play
for Play
shelf
Shelf
trade?
Trade?
Well, Grizzled, I played a very long time ago, and my memory of it was pretty punishing, or we just played it terribly. So I would probably play that one again just because I'm curious. I don't think I liked it at all because I was a 100% hater on co-ops then. My needle has moved, as Chris likes to say on that one. Sail, I did get to play, and I probably would trade it
Oh,
because I mean, I love trick takers, so I was excited to play it. And it is kind of cool where you're trying to, without being able to talk to your partner, do the different symbols, hopefully in the right way to do the right thing to not have the Kraken come out. But I don't know, I just played it and kind of felt like I didn't need to play it again. So I would just trade it. Now, Fellowship of the Ring, I think, is actually not as much like the crew as you think, but I don't. Except for, I probably would give you. I guess the crew, it forces you to do certain things, just like the Fellowship of the Ring. You have to play with certain characters, so maybe that is a similarity. Um, but I love going through all the season, I guess it would be called, or the different packs, and I've actually gone through it almost twice. I haven't finished the second one though, but I've restarted it with different friends, and I quite enjoy it. And actually, the artwork of it, of course, is beautiful as well. And it actually kind of got me a little bit into Lord of the Rings, where I just didn't care before.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm definitely going to keep that one and shelf it.
See, and I meant to correct Daniel earlier, and I'm glad you did because I don't think it's just a copy of the crew. It's
Mm-mm.
great narrative and great story, and it really does run
Mm-hmm.
you through the chapters of Lord of the Rings, the books, which is so cool because it introduces you to new characters that you might not be aware of if you've only seen the movies, and there's actually a nice storyline. It's one of those that I really like as well.
okay, well, that's
Sorry,
fair. Maybe it has a
didn't mean
better
to jump
narrative,
in.
but I mean, it does. With the ones I played, I just played the first few like scenarios of it, and it was just like make sure Frodo takes the ring, and it's like okay, in crew, it's like just make sure this person takes the one. It was just a thematic version of the crew, but yeah,
It gets way better as you go, though. You
eh,
just played like level 1,
oh,
level
but the
20
crew
gets
gets
very
better as you
interesting.
go too.
You got to get out of the Shire, Daniel. Get out of the Shire. Then things
I
start to
like the
happen.
the Shire.
The
It's
what?
cozy.
You like to shower, do you?
Yeah, well, I do, but that's not
That's
about this
good for
topic.
all of us that he likes to shower.
It's
Indeed.
correct. It's correct. All right, Chris, what's your play shelf trade?
All right. So I'm gonna go and start with the Grizzled as my shelf. Because again, I've only probably had played a handful of times, but again, and I've only played it where it was like the theoretically hardcore super punishing mode, but it was very interesting, and there was a lot of tension and excitement because it was just so hard, right? Like you had to super think about everything you were doing to make sure that like you weren't the one causing the chaos, and even then it was almost so punishing that it didn't matter, but that's another story. But like because of it just there was so much tension, and like I'm gonna be honest, like tension is like the determining factor for me that I've realized in pretty much all things. If there's not tension happening, then what am I doing here? And
Hey, just easing the tension, baby.
that applies to board games and especially role playing games. That's another story. But like really, if there's not tension, then like what am I doing here? So like I loved the tension that the hardcore mode or whatever we were playing on was. So I may not actually like the game as much if we don't play it on that, but that's regardless. And then I really like Lord of the Rings, so I guess I'll give the Lord of the Rings thing a go. I don't really like trick takers. I have some PTSD of hearts I don't understand why this is fun for people, to be completely honest. But I like it as a mechanism. So like I like Brian Baru, but like just I don't understand it. So, but I'll give it a pat. I'll give it a go. Especially because it's apparently like The Crew, which I'm like, okay, well I've heard good things about, which I've also not played, but I'm interested in that. So, because of that, I guess I will set sail SALE to
That's right.
sail and trade it.
All right. Good enough
Fair
reason.
Well, Chris,
Right?
I don't know how you've been living under a rock and not played The Crew, because that was everywhere a couple
Yeah,
years
I know.
ago.
It's not like I've been trying to run from it or anything like that. It just wrong place, wrong time. Just ships in the night.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
What
we're
other
not
boat
talking
puns can
about.
I do here?
Yeah, sorry. I know we're not talking about Crew here, but I will say I've played it with my family and it's a blast. Outside of playing it with my family, I have not enjoyed the game, and that's why Lord of the Rings is a trade for me. It's just it did not resonate with me other than listening to my family just yell at each other, and I thought that was entertaining enough because they love each other, so it's fun to listen to people who love each other yell. It's
See,
when they don't
we
love
don't
each
need
other.
that in my family. We don't need board games to do that. It just happens
It's
naturally.
just like come over. Just
Yeah.
come
Come
to
on
my
over.
house.
That's
Like,
a
what are you
regular
talking
Monday
about?
night.
All right, well,
Well,
Andy?
what do you guys think? Why don't you tell us in your comments what your play, shelf, and trade would be? We'd love to hear it. And as always, we love it when you like and subscribe to our channel. And let's keep this thing rolling.
Round 2. Fight!
All right, so round 2, we are going to do a hunt around the board. We like what?
Real hot.
There you go.
So hot right now.
Thank you.
That's hot.
We could not progress without that song. Thank you, Andy.
True.
Well, normally we like to do great game debates and we take a look at old games that don't get enough attention, but we want to let you know if you should like these games. But the hot and not section is the rare times we actually play the newest and the hottest games. And since we have a very diverse group of people on this show who like all different types of games, we're going to tell you which ones of us think that it's hot and which ones think it's not, and then you can decide if you agree with us or not. And then maybe if you're playing with a person like Chris, then you know, well, Chris liked or didn't like this game, maybe I shouldn't. So that's what hot or not is about. But today we are doing the gang, and we're going to do this in a little different way. Instead of giving us a minute and a half to talk about it and then going back and forth, we're going to kind of break it down a little bit, and I'm going to throw it to individuals. Let's start this off. Obviously, you may have noticed that the gang is very similar to poker. It's cooperative poker is what it is. And there's a couple of us on this show who really enjoy poker. I am not one of them, but Chris is one of them. So Chris and Kelly, you're going to tell us the connection this has to poker and how you feel how it succeeded or didn't succeed in that.
It uses a 52 card deck and you make poker hands, but that's it. Which is why when you were saying it's basically poker, I was like, because it's really not. Like it's
What?
really you're really not playing. I mean, you have the flop come out, you have the turn, you have the river, and that kind of thing. But it's like you're not playing actually poker. Like I know you're like, what are you talking about, Chris? But really, like when he said, I was like, no, it's really not poker at all. You're making you are going through the motions of Texas Hold'em. Yes, 100%. But like what you're doing is trying to put yourself in order, which is not how poker works. So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe this was a bad answer. But I'm
Chris,
just saying, like, it's not
That's terrible.
Terrible.
Normally I listen to you, Chris, but this is poker. This is first of all, it's Texas Hold'em.
sure.
That's a version of poker. There's many versions of poker.
Oh, right.
But Texas Hold'em, one of the most popular, and this is cooperative Texas Hold'em, which makes it kind of interesting. But anyway, I digress. I just had to interrupt and say that Chris was wrong. Kelly,
Yeah.
what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, Kelly, set him right.
I shall. I mean, like already mentioned, it is Texas Hold'em. You literally in your description describe Texas Hold'em. What is more poker than that? You have to have poker hands. And yes, the cooperative part is you can't really talk to each other and you have to get your worst hand to highest hand. So that is the cooperative part, but it is pure poker.
I'm gonna.
Like again, don't misunderstand. Like I mean, I think this game is like fantastic. Like I've really soured on cooperative games over the years, especially the last few years. But like, this game is fantastic. I love poker. So from a person who loves Texas Hold'em, this is a fantastic and awesome experience. But like, I guess it's fair. I guess it's the answer is yes, it's Texas Hold'em that
Okay.
is cooperative, which is
So
something that doesn't make any sense, right?
I
Like it's
think
possibly not the same thing because it's so different. But yeah,
I think I know what Chris is getting at here. Maybe I may have found what he's talking about.
Okay.
sure.
So the reason here's as a former big time, not big time, but played a lot of Texas Hold'em myself.
Right.
There are two types of Texas Hold'em. There's Texas Hold'em when there's nothing on the line, and there's Texas Hold'em when there's something on the line. And when there's something on the line, whether it's a $5 buy-in or we did even like games with like gift certificates and stuff like that, it makes it so much better. So, and maybe in that sense, there's no money in this game. Is that what you're getting at? Kind of, there's no.
No, it's not the money thing because
Okay.
I can play for free just as competitive if it was for like $100,000 or Ritz for free. I'm gonna play the same because I just want to win. But like
Well-
it's again the only way to describe it truly is though. I mean, again, we should have just said this at the beginning, like which we kind of did, is you're somehow taking something that's inherently not cooperative and competitive at the highest level and have made it cooperative. So obviously it's like completely different, but at the same time, it literally is all you have to do is tell someone it's Texas Hold'em, but cooperative, and they're going to look at you like you have 7 heads immediately, because that's what I did when it was when it was told to me. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, well, you just try to put in order without talking to each other. I think I have the lowest hand. I think I have the highest hand." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then we played it, and it was fantastic.
What I find interesting about the gang is that as the cards come out, so you've got your pre-flop cards, and you then try and order your cards and who's got the best hand or the lowest hand. You can't give specifics, but you've got to try and do that. And then as the flop comes out, you then rework it and see, well, I thought I had a good hand, but now I don't. So for instance, if I had an ace king and a I don't know, 2-2-2-4 came out, I mean, I still might have a good hand, but not as good as I thought I might have. So you rework it every time more cards come out, which I find fascinating and interesting, which you do in regular poker too. But I think what I like the most about the gang is, and I think it's what it's the most beneficial for, is I think it's a great way to play with a bunch of people and then go play real Texas Hold'em afterwards because you know how they think.
Oh, I thought you were saying teach the game. It's a kind of a good way to teach the game, but yeah,
It is a good way to teach the game too. But
yeah,
I would love to do it. Just play with a bunch, and then I go, okay, so that's how Chris plays.
I'm glad you brought up teaching.
He also knows I play.
Yeah, I was glad you brought up teaching the game because that's where I was going to go with this next. Is how easy is this to understand? Because I've played poker quite a lot in my life, and I shouldn't say quite a lot. I had a moment where I did, and I will honestly say I never quite understood the priority of the hands. Like it's full house is good, a straight is good, a flush is good, but like which one's better than the other? This game actually really shows you what that is and lets you understand that, because that was a really hard thing when I sat down the first time and played this game. I was like, I don't know if I have a good hand or not. I was like,
I'm going to call BS on something you said there.
Oh,
because
what's
you said
that?
I've played quite a lot of poker.
No, okay.
You have not played quite a lot of
No,
poker if you don't know how the hands work.
You're right. No, well, I put on a good poker face and pretended that I knew what I was doing.
So you played poker without knowing what you were doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Okay.
And this taught me. So the first hand I played of this, I was like, man, this is tough. I don't understand what's going on and everything. But then they gave me a little player aid, and it showed me the order in which everything is supposed to be. And all of a sudden, I was like, this game makes so much more sense. And I enjoyed it a lot more because of that.
Man, I wish I had played poker with you before the game when there was something on the line. Because
Yeah, well,
Becca!
yeah, you would have gotten an easy win for sure. All right, well,
Yeah,
next one we're going to
so I
move.
do want to jump in here and
Yeah.
say something for like people that are poker players. Like what really sets us apart, makes it interesting, is not only is obviously it's completely different because it's a cooperative game, but like what really it makes it extremely interesting is like in normal poker, right? You dealt 7-2 and you're not the big blind. You're just mucking the cards and moving on, waiting for the next hand. Not this game. Like no matter what your hand is, you have to play it. So if you're playing a 6-player game, I think it goes to 6-player normally, right?
I think it goes up to 6,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, okay, sorry, spoilers for those at home. The reason I asked that question is because we played, I know, with at least 7, and we used like additional pieces so we could play with more people, which makes it exponentially more difficult. But man, was it awesome! But that's another story. And those extra pieces I actually thought might have been originally with the game, which I thought was extra cool because they were like these little like bouncy
Plastic
frog
frogs,
plastic
yeah.
things you get out of the quarter machine. But
And gold
whatever.
coins.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, this is super unhinged and weird. And they're like, oh no, that was from a junk drawer. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, either way, cool. Anyways, so you can make this, well, spoilers kind of leads to other things we're talking about later, but you can play this with a lot of people, just add some additional components, but regardless.
Well, and tell me, guys, because I only played it a few times, and I think we just played the basic. There are scenarios that come up too, right?
Mhm.
Like the crew and Lord of the Rings.
It's not so much scenarios, it's if you pass or fail. So if you fail, you get a scenario that might make it easier. So that's where I was actually going to defend Chris a little bit, where it can stray from poker, because like there's stuff like, oh, you can pick a person to throw away their first two cards and get new ones. So obviously that strays from regular poker. And then if you do well, then they might add something that makes it harder because there's chips involved, but the chips are used in a much different way because it's more Hanabi style of, I'm taking a 1 because I think I have a really bad hand. And then you see the flop and like, oh, all of a sudden I'm a 4. So you're sitting there going, okay, their hand improved, but how much compared to other people? And that part is the part I love about the game.
Yeah, you got to get into that feeling of a game like The Mind, where you just are trying to. Are you sure? Are you sure you've got a good hand? It's real interesting. It's fascinating.
But yeah, but again, what I was trying to say is like the fact that like every hand has to be played through the river is what really kind of like makes the game super interesting. Is no one's like, oh no, I'm out. Like, no, you're got 6 hands all the way through the river, and you got to figure out on that after the river 1 through 6 in how good the hand is, and it's really good.
Right. This is where I need to step in here because this is actually the reason I did not enjoy the game as much. So I enjoyed the experience of the game, playing it with friends. This is one of those games you can laugh at and have fun with, but I didn't necessarily enjoy it, if that makes sense. And one of the reasons is because of what Chris just said. You have to play it to the end, which ultimately what that means is every game almost ends the same. It's like you start off going, oh, I only have a 2 and a 3. That hand is horrible. And then you get to the 5, and then all of a sudden you have 2 2s and 2 3s, and you're like, oh, I actually have a better hand now. And in the end, like every game or a straight, that's the one that really almost always happens is that somebody started with a 5 and a 7, and then a 6 comes out, then a 4 comes out, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna suck. And then the 5 comes out in the last round, and then you're like, yes, I got the 5. I'm gonna win now. And it's and it always plays the same way. In poker, people bail out, so you never get to see that straight win as often as it does in here. But here, I feel like the straight wins more times than it doesn't. And to me, it just, after a while, I'm like, this is literally the same result every time we play.
But see, it depends on who you play with. Like anything, if you play with a regular group, that's what makes it also a little bit interesting. And it's also as interesting when you play with new people every time, because I've had games where there were several straights and we had to figure out who was the higher straight versus lower straight. And once again, that's the basis of paying attention. What chips they take throughout, the dramatic changes or the fights back and forth. Like, no, I'm the 2, you are not the 2. And then deciding, am I going to let them have that, or are we going to keep going? Like, that's the fun, tension-filled part that I really enjoy.
That's true.
I can kind of see a little bit of what you're saying, Daniel, after you explained it fully, but I still think it's a blast. It's still a really good game.
Yeah. So, well, let's give
And
our final
I just
thoughts.
want to add one thing. So I just want to highlight, and this is a huge trophy for me, is I got Andy to not only play, but genuinely love a cooperative game. And we all
Yeah.
know he hates them. And like now he freely talks about it. So the great wall has been broken.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
You've
right.
chipped through my icy heart.
All right.
So I've only played with a limited number of people, but I will say that I have not played a person that I respect their chops in poker that has played this game that didn't love it. Like
Yeah.
I've like every person that like I know that is a real poker player that's played this game loves it. So it's really good, and like I haven't played with a table of just hardcore poker players. I would love to do that. I think it would be super interesting. I think you would have to almost add some additional rules to make it more difficult for you, like literally zero talking. Like you can talk in this game, just not it's almost like the don't say the word on the card from Time's Up or whatever, but you can
Yeah.
talk kind of generally. If you're playing with a table full of hardcore poker people, I think the literally answer is 0 talking, purely the chips, because then it could just be a little too easy with good poker players. But regardless, it's fantastic. And again,
Yeah.
I've not heard from anyone that I respect their play of poker that didn't love it. So
That's a good point. Okay, let's go around real quick. And Andy, give us your final thoughts on it. Hot or not? And what's your favorite poker hand?
Final thoughts. Well, this is hot. This is definitely hot for me. It's hot, 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 baby. And I didn't think it would be when I first heard about it because, like Chris, I was like, what? Cooperative poker? Poker's the most cutthroat, competitive game there is. But it actually works. I got to hand it to the designer because this is a game where they've taken essentially components that most people have, but they've made it in such a great design that it's worth buying and supporting them just for their creative work in this and coming up with the idea. So I hope people do buy it because it's not very expensive either.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna say for me personally, it's a not. I will play this game. I will even have fun with it when I'm playing it with friends, but I don't need to play it again. I'm not gonna ask for it again. It's poker, man. If you love poker, I think you'll like this game a lot. If you are like me, who always just like flailed through poker and said, okay, whatever, I guess I'll play it because that's what everyone else is doing. I don't think this is going to change it for you unless you super duper duper love the whole aspect of games where you're like trying to be subtle about your like when you're doing co-ops and you're like, no, mine's better. No, mine is better. And then that little like silent argument that happens. Other than that, that's the only thing that I enjoyed from it. So it's a not for me. What about you, Kelly?
It is most certainly hot, hot, hot. Everywhere I've taken it, it has just gone on like gangbusters, and I thoroughly enjoy playing it. And I did want to add from earlier, I think something, and I can't recall if this is even official rule, but a lot of the groups I played with, we will allow talking about what we think about other people's hands as long as we're not talking about our own. So I think that's a little bit more interesting than if we were all silent. I feel like that would take away some of the fun of the game.
I will say when you do that though, you risk. It's like any cooperative game like that where there's silence. It risks if you're talking about their hand. If they give any kind of like smile or something like that, that could give it away pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I can see where that would hurt it. Actually.
It's a little alpha gamery in that position. So I'm glad you actually said that because I'd agree with that. But Chris, what do you got? What's your final take?
But I was just gonna respond to that real quick. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with that, and like, especially depends on the table, right? Like, if you're playing with a bunch of people who don't know how to play, like Daniel's at the table, then it's fantastic. But then doing stuff like it's great. I'm just saying, like, I feel like if you're playing with a table of a bunch of hardcore players, you might have to like add your own rules, but you know what I'm saying, like make your own things to make it a little more interesting, or it just might be a little too easy. But the answer is this. It's a 10. It's an absolute 10. It's the first 10 that I have seen the first time. Like the moment I played it, the first time I was like, this is a 10. That I can't remember the last time I played a game that immediately I was like, yeah, it's a 10. It's not even a question. Like,
wow.
I think we were in the second round of like the turn when I was like, yeah, this is 10. This game is incredible.
There you go. And for those of you who don't think Chris likes board games, there you go. He just gave a brand new game a 10.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't do our poker hands. I totally missed that.
What's your favorite poker hand?
My favorite poker hand is a ace king offsuit. You know what it's called?
No, I have no idea.
Anna Kournikova. It's a dated reference at this point, but Anna Kournikova.
Why is it called that, Andy?
Yes.
Looks great, plays terrible.
Oh, you lost a point for that. All right, guys. Well, there you go. The Gang. It's one of the new hot games that are out right now. Whether or not you agree with me, you can agree with the other three and really the populace at large. It is a hot game for sure. But you really do have to like poker, I think, at least a little bit. And I've never been a fan of it. So let us know have you played The Gang yet? Leave us a comment. Let us know. Do you think it's hot? Do you think it's not? Is this a flash in the pan or is it here to stay? All right. And after that, we got done with 2 rounds. The scores, Chris and Kelly are tied with 11. I'm next at 10, and Andy's at 9. He did have 10, but he kind of said a pretty bad joke about the Anna Kournikova. Nobody even knows who that is. Come on,
Anna
Andy.
Kournikova.
It's not Kovic. Everybody knows who that is. Come on.
All right.
Did she marry Sergei Fedorov?
Yeah, and we know who that is too.
Wait, is that really true?
Yeah, it's true. Or was it Pavel Bure? I don't remember.
Know. I didn't know she married anyone that mattered.
She married a Russian hockey player, and she's a Russian tennis player.
Oh, okay.
We're deep diving here. Deep diving.
Deep.
All right. Well, let's go to a commercial.
We'll return after these messages.
FBC Game Con is almost here, and guess what? It's absolutely free to attend. But you might want to bring a little extra cash to take your experience to the next level. With amazing vendors like JTP Games, Gaming at Joe's, Emily Stuff, Peculiar Games and Hobbies, and Meeple-a-thon, you'll find plenty of cool must-have items to keep for yourself or to donate to a good cause. Feeling hungry? We've got you covered. The FBC Youth Group will be selling snacks and drinks. Smoke and Soul will be there serving up delicious bites on Saturday, and celebrities will be there on both Friday and Saturday. Want to up your game? Grab extra raffle tickets, snag a t-shirt, or even bid on a high-dollar auction item. While you can have a blast for free, bringing a bit of cash means you won't have to miss out on all the extras that make FBC Game Con even more epic. So plan ahead and get ready for a weekend of fun, food, and fantastic finds.
All right, welcome back. We're going to keep this party rolling with round 3.
Round 3. Fight!
All right, guys. Well, I'm excited. You know what? I've tried to bring you helpful hints and information about board games and like the community and where we should go with it. You guys continue to not listen to me. So now maybe I'll give you something that you will finally listen to me. I have the winning lottery numbers right here. And here we go.
Oh, wait, Chris, hold on.
What?
We're getting a message from the producer, Randy.
Not again.
Greetings. Around the board has fallen on some hard financial times. Find a game off your shelf that I can make myself with parts lying around my house. I'll totally buy the game later.
There's a random task. Ah! I got a couple. I gotta make sure I don't have any doubles.
All right.
I've only got one.
Got mine.
All right. Well, remember, the producer is gonna decide which game he likes the best.
Yeah, I guess I'll start it off here. And my game that you don't need to have it, you can just make the components effectively yourself or easily enough or buy them or whatever, but you should buy it anyways, is Can't Stop. I like this game. So this was a game that I played early on in my gaming career. This copy is actually from 1980, and that's older than I am. But regardless, I started playing this early in my career in the late 90s, early 2000s with my friend James. And that is what kind of also makes this interesting, is the fact that his version was produced by some sort of publisher or something like that, and he did buy it. But what it was basically one of those Chessex mats that people use for roleplay typically. It was a vinyl Chessex mat effectively, but it had the board. So this is my board. It's plastic, and you have these little chits that you go up based on the rolls of the game. But his was a Chessex mat that had all these numbers written on there and little dots, and then they came with some wooden pawns, and that worked just as well, because really all you need for this game is some sort of board,
a stop sign.
What?
Get a stop sign.
Yeah, exactly. A stop sign from the street, free, illegal. But yeah, and then you just mark on there these different numbers, and then have the appropriate spots based on the value of the 2d6, and get 4d6 that you got somewhere in your house for sure, and you're good to go. So yeah, they've actually had many different iterations of the game. Most of them have a stop sign. Many of them have cones as your little pawns. Mine has little squares. It's on brand, right? But anyways, but you can do whatever. And so actually, I'm gonna subvert here a bit, which is what I do. It got me thinking. Actually, you know what? I kind of want to make my own version of this. And so I got to think. I was like, how would I do this? I do a lot of crafting with foam, XPS foam for roleplay games and stuff like that. And I was like, what if I made my own out of XPS foam, and instead of having little chits that move up or down or plastic pieces or cones, just use like different themes of like miniatures. So like maybe one person's set of the pieces are a set of fantasy miniatures from the Lord of the Rings, and then we got a guy that's got a set of Space Marines and a set of Old West or something like that.
Wait a minute. Are you just slowly trying to change this into Blood Bowl?
Yes.
No.
That's what
it sounds like to me. He's slowly trying to change.
There you go.
Suddenly we're playing Blood Bowl.
I want the trolls and the
Nope,
halflings, and I can just
not at
throw
all,
myself
'cause
to the
it
top of the row.
Yeah,
Chris,
couldn't be
you're onto
less
something.
true.
Player powers can't stop with player powers. Chris, you're a genius.
Sure. So, anyways, so this is my game that you don't need to. You can actually create it yourself and all that stuff at home. But you should anyways. It's a fantastic game.
A unique one, Chris. I didn't know where you were going with that one. The Cheswick smack made me go, okay, now I understand. I mean, any of these you could just like cut a cardboard box up and use, I suppose. So
Yeah,
this game in particular,
Like a board game?
No, listen. This game, I also think this game in particular, like you just need like a piece of paper and a pen and some M&Ms.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
And 4 dice. 40. You need 4 D. The D6 is the thing that actually you really need. Everything else you can just draw or cut up some paper. Like
Can't stop the edible version.
For real.
All right, Andy, what's your pick?
All right. Yeah, I was gonna kind of cry foul on that too, because I was like, nobody has that kind of board just laying around. But I guess I get what you're saying. But mine was very easy, and it's just one. Just one.
Okay.
Yes, just one. Simple one. It's such a fun little party game, and it is my go-to game when I have people that are not board gamers and not interested in learning anything really. I'm like, okay, well, I can get them to play just one. So just one, for those of you that haven't played it, I don't know what's wrong with you. You got to play it. You take turns guessing. When it's your turn, there's a card in front of you that you cannot see, and there's 6 different words on it. You roll a dice, and it whatever the number is on the dice, that's the word you're going to play. And everybody else has to give a clue on a little whiteboard. And then while the guesser's got their eyes closed, they all compare their answers. And if any of them match, they're eliminated. So if, for instance, if it was like sunshine and someone two people said star, you couldn't use star then. It would be eliminated from the game. But anyway, the person who guesses gets to see all the unique answers and then try and guess what the word is. And it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. But that would be one that anybody could do with whiteboards and some made up words. But it's worth buying because it's not very much money and it's a lot of fun. Just one.
All right. I would agree with you, Andy, but I'm going to speak on behalf of John since he's not here. And we all know, if you're not a panelist on this show, how hard it is to operate a whiteboard and bring your own whiteboard. So I don't know. It might be pretty challenging for someone to get their own whiteboard.
Oh, you can just write it on a piece of paper too. Come on now.
Ah, okay. I guess you got an out there.
What about the trees, man?
That's right. We got to think about the trees. All right.
You can rip off a piece of plastic and write it on it.
Plastic's
better,
fine.
right?
We're back to supporting plastic.
And then it'll last forever also.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Ooh.
Just make sure it's not single use.
My game is 2 rooms and a boom, baby. So I had a feeling you guys were going to go with party games. So I went with a large group game. I thought about doing like Pirates Dice, Liar's Dice, or Time's Up, but 2 Rooms in the Boom is actually one of the best games you can play that you don't actually need to buy. And I think it's between prints right now, or maybe it's hard to get. So if you've always wanted to play this big social deduction game, all you have to do is get cards and write blue and red on them. And then your goal is to write president on one and bomber on the other one. And your goal is, if you're on the blue team, you don't want the president to be in the room with the bomber. And if you're on the red team, you want the president to be in the room with the bomber. That's the whole point of this game. You just need literally a group of cards. You can use playing cards if you want, just to designate which teams people are on. And then there's some like special powers in here too, where like you could play as like the spy. Well, just write spy on a deck of cards. This is completely doable. Actually, the first time we ever played this was with our friend Adam Shank, and it was before it was actually released, but he had heard about it via the Kickstarter. So he just made his own deck. So we were actually playing 2 Rooms in the Boom a good 2 years before it was officially out. So not only Is
It
it
was
a
an
good
official print and play, wasn't it? It was an official print and play.
one? Maybe it was an official. No, it wasn't official. He made it himself.
Oh,
But regardless,
okay.
it's easy enough to do yourself. 2 rooms and a boom.
Daniel also doesn't recognize a print and play as official.
That's true. No. If you're gonna do it yourself, then that does not count at all. That's why print and play games are not on Board Game Geek. I think I'm gonna die on that hill, even though I know nothing about it. All right, Kelly, what did you bring?
So my choice is actually introduced to me by Father Ken, a good friend of the show, and it is Strike. And the reason why I don't think you need it, I mean, per se, is it just really requires dice, a bunch of dice, and you could throw it in a box. But look at this cool little arena, and it does have slightly customized dice. The one is a X for Strike. And like Daniel, I didn't do a ton of prep. I forget exactly how it plays. I can't recall if it's higher numbers knock out the others or if it's about hitting them. It's been a
If they're
while since I
doubles,
played, but
if you get doubles,
they're
they get
doubles.
that's
removed.
what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, and it's just got that, you know, maybe a roulette type feel, just like you're throwing it, you're getting the numbers or you're not. It's just a lot of fun. Everybody I've ever seen play it, it has a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun, and it's fast, so you can get more games in.
There you go.
That's a good one. I've got the Harry Potter version one, which is a little bit of a twist on it, and it has some stuff that flavor text from Harry Potter, which is kind of cool too. Each dice side is a different spell and does something slightly different.
Yeah, I like that you picked that one, Kelly, because there's a podcast I listen to, Rolling Dice and Taking Names, and every year at Gen Con they have a competition. Are they going to call it Gladiators in Arena, or are they going to call it Dice in a Bowl? And they literally at the event they have Strike a board set up, and then they also have Tupperware set up where you're also just throwing it in the Tupperware. Now the dice do need to escape, like that's part of it. If it ever falls out of the arena, you lose the die as well. So you do have to make sure if you use Tupperware, it has to be shallow. If it's too deep, you ruin part of the aspect of the game. So
Yep. Has to be easy to accidentally bounce out.
all right,
Yep.
well there's our 4 games. Let's hold them up. And now our behind the scenes producer, he gets to decide who gets the victory. But we're going to start with, actually, let's do this. Let's start with number 2 first. Randy, who gets second place?
Second place, Kelly.
There you go.
Yay!
All
And I
right.
strike out first place.
Now we're going to go to third. Randy, who got third?
Third place, Daniel.
I think I probably should have been first, to be honest, but I'm going to accept it. Since I've actually seen this one done just with cards, but whatever. All right. And number 1 is going to go to...
First place, Andy. You lose, Chris.
Andy!
Oh!
Chris, I mean, let's be honest. You said you have to bring a Chessex board. That means you have to like buy something. A Chessex? What is it called? What is it? The mat? The Chessex
The
mat?
Chessex mat. I'm confused. Why that's a problem? What?
What? Because you have to like
What?
buy like Andy said, who has a Chessex mat? Like that's like a D&D thing specifically. Not everybody
No,
has
you
one.
don't have to have that. What I was saying is that like the cool thing is this has been printed in all different ways based on the publisher. And I
Yeah.
thought his version was really cool, but I really like my version. But you could also make yours own out of like a sheet of paper and draw some lines and then use M&Ms, and all you need is 4d6. You don't even need 52 cards. You just need 4d6.
The real reason I won, Chris, and you didn't, is because of this little thing up here. You see
Ah,
that?
Spill
The
this jar.
Spiel des Jahres.
The Spiel des Jahres.
They're never wrong.
Absolutely.
That's
I wonder
right.
if GameStop ever got that.
Unlike Randy,
No,
who's
no, no.
always wrong. So there
It
you
did come
go.
out in 1980, so we probably should look at like Spiel des Jahres 2016. It might have been on there.
Could have been.
So really, the biggest problem with Chris's was the legal note that we need to add now as a disclaimer. Children, don't go steal the stop signs. Please don't do that. We are not telling you to or condoning that.
Now, if
It
they've
is a
blown
safety
over,
issue.
if they've blown over in a storm, is it okay to retrieve them then?
Great point.
I mean,
Take that
yeah,
up with your parents.
it's-
I hope it is. Otherwise, I'm going to have to return something from when I was like 16. So
All right. Well, guys, let us know which game is on your shelf that you think could be done with just pen and paper or something else, but you think the designers deserve a little tip of the hat and a little few bucks your way.
Absolutely.
Final round. Let's get it on.
All right, so round 4, guys. I'm going to host it again. I know I've been talking a lot, but we had John being more involved and Kelly wasn't involved, but John had to drop out at the last second because of a family emergency. So, just keep him in his prayers. He'll be in the next show, I'm sure, but just, you're going to have to listen to me talk some more. So, but.
Well, and I would talk more, but you have to talk to my agent.
Yeah, that's true. We don't pay Andy enough for him to host more than one segment around.
I have a maximum amount of words I can say each show.
How
You
many?
go over,
If
sir.
only that was the thing. Can we renegotiate that? Negotiate it down a little bit? Like, hey, you really were overworking, or Andy. Let's cut those words in half.
All right, guys.
So what's the last game?
Yeah, the last game is a new game. It's called Survey Says. Maybe it's called FBC Gamer Survey Says. I don't know. But the point is, at the last second Friday game night at FBC, passed out a survey for all of our attendees to fill out. And they asked them questions. And we're going to find out what their responses were, but these guys here are going to guess. So, example, I'm going to give them a category, something that says like, oh, give me an example of a game with the best artwork. And they all had to write down what they thought, and I collected all of them. Now, this is the catch, though. I'm going to ask them this question, and you're going to have to guess what the most popular answer was. But you cannot guess the most popular, because if you guess the number 1 answer, I'm going to get 3 points. But if you guess the number 2 answer, you'll get 3 points. If you guess an answer that had multiple responses to it, you'll get 2. And if it's just on the list, you'll get 1. We don't know how many of these we're going to do, but we'll just keep going around until we feel like we've had enough. So, first thing we're going to do is group games. All right. So I'm going to start with Andy. Andy, when I asked the FBC gamers, I said, what is the game you would play when you have a large group? What do you think their answer would be?
I'm going to say Avalon.
Avalon, or like the Resistance?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, Avalon or Resistance, it's kind of the same game. If that was on the list at all, I would give it to you. But unfortunately, it was not on the list. No Avalon.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Some of them on here were a little that's the one you pick? Okay. All right. Kelly, what's your thoughts?
I was actually trying to think about what games I've seen that are big group games there at FBCs, but I'm gonna go with an easy one, maybe Secret Hitler.
Secret Hitler. I thought that would be on the list, and it is. It was the 3rd most answered to response. So that means since it is the 3rd, you will get 2 points. Sorry, we had to think about how this was going to work.
I was going to say that one, but I was worried that was going to be the most popular one.
Ah, that's the trick of this game. You don't know.
That's
you
the
don't want to
trick.
get. You don't want to give me points. All right,
the real
Chris.
trick is the amount of points Daniel's going to get.
No.
That's with all his games.
Hey, Kelly already has more points than everybody else. All right, Chris. What's your guess?
Mine might be the number 1, but I got to get some points here, so I'm going to give it a try. Time's Up.
Time's Up. It's not the number 1. It's actually not on the list at all.
Most people don't even know that game.
What was Fishbowl written down? Because that's another name for
that. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. All right, well, let's keep going.
Did 3 people show up to the last FBC game night?
Hey, I think Time's Up is a very sentimental one amongst us. I'm not sure if it's as popular as we wish it was. So.
Okay,
no, it's not
called
on there.
something else.
I now have a new quest.
Yeah.
At game night.
Let's do it. I want to play it more for sure.
I have a quest out.
All right.
I love
Andy.
watching Daniel play this game. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right, Andy. We'll go back to you. We'll do it at least one more time around.
Oh, so we're going around again?
Yeah.
Deception.
Deception.
Murder in Hong Kong.
That would be another good
Terrible
guess,
choice.
but
Oh,
not on
really?
this list.
Yeah.
Man, Andy.
I have another one already. It probably is
All
the
right.
winner.
Kelly, what do you got?
I'm afraid this could be a possible winner,
Okay.
but We're Doomed.
We're Doomed. That is not on the list. Man,
What?
you guys are like super...
Another one in our group only.
That's true. Yeah, I got Word Doomed right here. I know Cliff Chaffee, he played it and he was not a fan of it. He actually hated it. It's a very divisive game. I enjoy it a lot, but I get why some people
Oh,
don't
it's a
like
fun
it.
little game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
For
I
the 10
wouldn't
minutes you're
normally like
playing,
it.
it's good.
Except the game I got to play, we all shot Andy out and just mercilessly cut him out, and it was beautiful.
So are we
Yeah.
going to
Win
keep
for
going until we
everybody.
get the top answers?
Not necessarily.
Sure. 2 rooms and a boom.
2 rooms in the moon. Chris, you get 2 points, buddy. That was tied with the
Hey!
number 2 answer. All right,
You
we'll
had
pause.
subliminal messages on that one.
All right, one more time around the board, Andy. What do you got? Give me some
All
points.
right, this is going to get me some points, I hope. It has kind of been a hotness game the last couple of years. Chris hates it. I'm going to go with Challengers.
Challengers.
Ooh.
That is going to give you 1 point, Andy. It was on the list. Can you
I'm
guess
on the
who
board.
Can you guess who put that on there?
I'm going to say Kent O'Connor put that on there.
No, he wasn't there. It was Philip.
Ha! Good old Philip.
All right, Kelly. One more time.
Oh, I didn't know I had to go again. Telestrations.
Telestrations.
Good guess.
You are going to get 1 point for that, Kelly.
Oh.
It was one person said
Yes!
telestrations.
That is a great part.
Who's my person? Come on now.
All right, Chris, you got the last guess. Come on, guess the number 1 answer. Let's do it. Give it to me.
I really don't like telestrations.
It's not magic.
No, I just don't. The Crew, because
The Crew.
that'll
That's not
somehow
a big
qualify
group.
as a group game.
No, it's not. That's a bad guess, and it's not on the list either.
Well, no,
I got
just
another
figured
one.
someone would be silly and consider that a group game.
No, that's fair. Well, I will say I did discount Randy's entire survey. He answered
Ah.
Axis and Allies for everything. So,
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
all right. Well, we'll end it there. So I'll let you guys know you got any guesses on what the number 1 answer is that you guys were trying to avoid?
Clearly
about-
not.
Captain Sonar.
It was not. And the number
Ooh.
1 answer was Blood on the Clock Tower.
Ah.
Blood on the Clock Tower.
Oh, that's
That's
that was
right.
popular.
Other number 2s were Just One, and Wits and Wagers, and Werewolves.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Zero for Daniel.
0 for me. Come on, do better, guys. Do better. All right. For our next question, I asked about themes. I said, what is your favorite nature-themed board game? And this time we're going to start with Kelly.
Oh no. There's so many. And this is my theme, if you
Yep.
recall. I
Yep.
love nature games. So hopefully Everdale has lost a little steam to not be number 1. So I'll say Everdale.
Everdale's going to give you 2 points, Kelly. It was low on the list, but you get it though. All right, Chris, what do you have?
Okay, so when we say nature, like, are we talking about like trees and birds and animals?
I
Like,
mean,
And
are we-
ogres and orcs.
Yeah. I mean, you would hope so, but I just asked nature. I mean, the people have to interpret this any way they want to. So, yeah. Have faith in humanity, Chris.
You know I can't.
Whoa.
There's actually one on here that I'm confident you guys won't guess that I'm excited to tell you at the end.
I've got several guesses. I'm prepared here.
I'm afraid my next guest might win it. For Daniel.
I'm just getting it out of the way. Is probably gonna get Daniel points, but sure, Wingspan.
Wingspan. That is a nature game, but you know what? It's not on this list.
Ha! Another reason for Chris to hate this game.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Do you have faith in humanity, at least in FBC gamers, that did not make the
No,
list?
I don't.
See, I think people when they hear nature, they're thinking plants and trees.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Flora.
So, like, that's why I quest for the qualifier. And Daniel was like, just let the kids run free.
I asked
If it
nature.
helps you, Chris, I think your guess was great. I think that makes sense because
I
birds
thought it
are
was
in
gonna give
nature.
Daniel points. I thought it was gonna be the number 1 nature answer, but
I
that's
know.
what it is.
Crazy.
All right. I got a good guess
Go for it.
because it's a game that's kind of been hot People played it on BGA a lot lately. People are getting into it.
You don't want that though, Andy.
No, but it's not going to be the number one game. It's definitely not going to be
Okay.
number one. But it's going to be on there, and that's going to be Forest Shuffle.
Forest Shuffle. You know
Ooh.
what, Andy? You are right. And it's not the number one game, but it was the number 2 game.
Yes.
Andy's going to get 3
Right.
points. All right. Well, let's do it at least one more time. Kelly, what do you have?
Is it cheat if I look at my shelf over here?
Maybe.
Don't worry, none are over there. I'm actually gonna go. I'm kind of afraid this could give you points again, Daniel, but I'm gonna go with Cascadia.
Cascadia. That's a good guess, but it is not on the list. And for those of you at home who
Aw.
are like, how could these games not be on the list? We had 50 people attend, so this is a smaller pool, so it's not everybody.
And
So
they're
that's
all
why.
over the place.
Wait,
Yeah.
you said 50 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
40.
not a small pool. If we had
What?
10 people, it would make sense. 50 people, Wingspan and Cascadia.
Well-
Someone had to say those.
They did it. I promise. All right, Chris. What? Give
Tough
me another
show.
guess.
Tough crowd.
I mean, granted, we were at 49 because Randy put Axis and Allies for everything, but regardless. Good gravy. So this is gonna melt my brain if it hits, and Wingspan doesn't. But Arc Nova.
Arc Nova's a great answer because it gives me 3 points.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was the
You
first one
have
I
to
thought
be
of, and I was like,
kidding
no,
me.
that's going to be number one. Don't say it. And
Shoot.
Chris, you had to ruin it.
You ruined it, Chris. I mean, you did great, Chris.
Wingspan. Wingspan not on the list.
Well, Arc Nova's got a broader list of nature.
You know why it wasn't on the list, Chris? I didn't get to take the survey.
Who says,
That's true.
hey, you know what? I want to interact with nature. Let's go to the zoo. No, they go to
Everyone
the forest
does.
where the birds live.
If you live in a city,
Not all
you
birds.
only go
Some
to
birds
the zoo
live in
to
the
see nature.
Not all birds. Some birds live in the grassland and some live in the wetlands.
Andy, last pick. You can't pick better than Arc Nova or Forest
Yeah,
Shuffle.
I'm
You
worried
guys
this one's
got
going to
one,
be.
too.
I'm worried this one's going to be too obscure, but it's not obscure because it was in like, I know they were selling it at Barnes & Noble. I've seen it in other places. That's a few years old, though. I'm going to go with Arboretum. Arboretum.
That's a nice
maybe
choice.
at one point that could have been on the top, but that abstract game is not on the list. So
That's an excellent one. I'm
That's a really good
curious. Just curious, Daniel. Was Planted on the list?
Planted was not. So I'll tell you guys some of the other top picks here.
I guess one more. Earth.
One more?
Is Earth on there?
Oh, I meant to say that one. Darn
Wait,
it.
yes, Earth is on there. There you go. Good job.
What about that other game that the Wingspan person made, Mariposa or whatever? Is that
Nope.
on there?
It is not.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that
because
one's really
I
obscure.
absolutely would have stood up and walked away.
Or
Like I would
Fox
just be like,
Experiment.
nothing with this episode. I'm leaving.
Yeah. Well, Fox Experiment would have been more likely on there, but not than Mariposas, not than Wingspan. All right,
Sure.
the other two that you guys did not guess was Photosynthesis, and then the one that you would never guess. There were 2 votes, and that was for Terraforming Mars.
That thought briefly crossed my mind as we first started. And I was like, no, of course not. Nobody's going to say that.
But there is no nature on Mars.
Well, you're trying to make nature on Mars.
I suppose.
And TI is nature because it's about space somewhere or over an infinite timeline in all dimensions and all times. TI exists somewhere, so that's also nature.
Bleh.
All right. Oh, and also the number 3 answer was none as well.
None.
None?
Yep.
Oh, these are my
None.
people.
That's right.
Who are those 3 people? I need to talk to them people.
Oh, I was thinking N-U-N, and I was
Nope.
like,
N-O-N-E. All right, last round,
like it.
guys. We're going to do the most overdone themes. The most overdone themes. And this time, we start with Chris.
I win no matter what I do when I say this, so we're going to say nature.
Nature. That is going to give you 2 points, Chris.
Okay.
Not the number
Okay, so
2
I get points
answer,
there.
but it
I
was
also
on
would have
there.
won if it would have been the top one, because then it would have just proven my point. But either way, now I get points. That sounds good.
This one is almost similar, but I think it's unique enough that it could have its own category. And I'm going to say farming or agriculture.
Good guess.
That is not on the list. I'm sorry. Neither agriculture or farming. That's not overdone. It's
Yes,
only
it is. Have you
Uwe.
played?
Only
Have you played
Uwe.
any UA games?
Yeah, but he's the only one. Name another farming
Well, no, there's
game.
others. Clans of Caledonia is a good one.
Which
Fields
is like
of Arl?
that's
Oh, wait, no.
Uwe.
Not
Fields of Arl is Inui.
Yeah.
No, the other one.
Prove my point,
Oh,
Kelly.
we both own it, Andy. I meant
Fields
to
of Green.
say.
Agricola?
Thank you, Fields of Green. That's what I was trying to say.
Fields of
All
Arl
right.
is the farming game, in my opinion.
Well, there might be a lot, but not too many. All right, Kelly, what's your guess?
I'm afraid this one could win, but I personally believe this is space. I am almost sick of playing games about space.
All right, it is on the list. Just number 4 on the list. So good job. That gives you 2
How
points.
many points do I get? Okay.
2 points for that one. All right, we'll go one more time around. Chris?
Just overall fantasy, I guess.
All
Kind of
right.
like, space, but this is fantasy instead of sci-fi fantasy.
Does
Yeah,
space
sure.
include fantasy? Should we ask Rob Searing?
Ooh.
No. That's
All
That's
right,
not
yeah.
the same.
I feel
Sorry,
like
Rob.
that's a
there.
debate right there.
Yeah. So fantasy
had it
is
on the
going to give
show.
you 1 point, Chris. 1
All
point.
right.
gosh, that was my answer. Dang it.
All right. Andy, this is your last
What
guess.
am I know.
I'll give Andy a moment.
Okay,
here.
I got it.
Okay.
It's civilization games.
Civ games.
Ooh,
That's a
that's
good
pretty good.
guess.
That's pretty
But,
good.
no one can think that there's too many Civ games. You can't have enough Civ games. Can't
That's
have
not on the
enough Civ
list.
games. Not on the list. It's a great theme.
There's so many civilization games.
Whoa.
There's so many of them.
But it's not
Whoa.
overdone. All right, Kelly, give your last guess.
Oh, this is hard, but once again, this is one of my other favorite themes, but I feel like there's a whole lot of Asian themed games. I mean, I must own over 100 at least.
Asia's a big place. You know that, right?
Not Asia, Asian. That's the best way I can say it. Like, I don't know how else would you say it.
Oriental. No, I wouldn't say
No,
that
I
either.
was
can't
gonna
because-
say, I was gonna
Eh.
say, like, I actually think saying Asian is worse than Asia. I think that's
Really?
actually more controversial.
No,
I had a
it's-
friend in,
What would I say?
I
No,
had a friend in high
honestly.
school who was Chinese, and he said he hated people calling him Oriental. He said that's for trinkets and rugs.
Yeah.
not for
There you
people.
go.
Well, then
No.
what else would you
Trinkets
say?
and
I
rugs.
think
Tell me.
Kelly, I think what you said is fine, but it's not on the list. And that's extra funny because of her friend John, who is Asian, likes to refer to himself as Asian John. So it's always funny when Kelly brings up Asian games. It's a thing them two have. But anyways,
Not John on the show, by the way.
no, another John.
Different job.
Hence why he's called Asian John.
Well, I
That's
just
right.
I didn't know if he was like claiming he had like 2% bloodline or something.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, there you go, guys. Do you guys want to know what the number 1 answer is, or do you want to guess?
Please.
It has to be the meme, right? Of trading in the Mediterranean.
I thought it'd be up there, but it's not. That's only.
Oh, I
on,
know what it is. I know
one.
what it is.
What is it?
Oh,
What is it,
oh.
Andy?
It's auctioning.
Nope. That's a
Not a
mechanic.
theme,
What?
that's a mechanic.
That's a mechanic. Come
Oh,
on,
no.
Andy.
Well,
Guys.
whatever.
Okay, I love my FBC gamers group. I got this list back, and I almost told every one of them off. The number 1 answer was Marvel.
Oh, can I guess?
Oh, Marvel.
I almost said IPs. I almost said
Let's
IPs.
go.
I
Let's
was like,
go.
you guys are
Hope
haters.
back in humanity. Hope back in humanity.
I'm offended.
I'm with
I
you,
think
Daniel.
this was a
Screw these
personal
people.
attack. Oh man! And then the
Let's
number 2
go.
answer was Cthulhu. And then we also
that's
had
fair.
zombies as well. That was close to Cthulhu.
Oh, that's
Uh,
a good one.
And then the one that you're going to appreciate the most, Chris. All right. We got 2 of them. Blank Span.
Blank
Blank
span.
I
2
like
people
it.
wrote
I
in
like it.
span games. And I was like, wow, that's nice. All right. Well,
I
there you
can't
go.
believe, I cannot believe farming or civilization weren't on there.
Or
There's so
trading in the
many,
Mediterranean.
People
there's so
love
many
it.
games.
People love it. That's the key to this that you missed, Andy. It's overdone
Ah.
means that they're tired of them. People want those games.
Mhm.
They want them. All right. Well, there you go, guys. That was our new game. Survey says, let us know what you think of it. Did you fare better than these guys? Let me know. Actually, Kelly, you did phenomenal, and because of that, I think Kelly, you're gonna get the first victory of your career. Am I wrong in that, or
Ooh.
I think that is. So Kelly had 19, Chris had 18, and Andy and I had 14 points. It's almost like there's a new producer with all these points being given out. It's crazy. All right, Kelly. What do you
Someone
have
with
for your
better
final
taste,
say?
clearly.
Clearly. I mean, I agree. All right, Kelly. You got 2 minutes. Go.
Wow, I did not prepare for this. So, let me tell you about what grinds my gears in board games. So, I've been very much talking about this quite a bit if you've ever gamed with me, but I am so sick and tired of not technical reprints, but like taking a game and doing 100th version of it, whether
Mm,
it's Castles of Burgundy. Recently, I heard Ennis is being like, it's not, what do you call it? It's like new art stuff. And then
yeah.
there's Quacks even. And I'm like, if you're somebody that's already said, gone all in and you got everything, or for me, like with Ennis is why it's salty for me, is I had the base game, been searching for the expansion. Now they got the whole new version. And for me, I'm just like, I'm sick of buying something and then maybe they did end up making the theme better, and I'm like, well, shoot, I already got all the old stuff. I spent some good money, tricking it out. It's kind of becoming a thing that's frustrating. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Welcome.
Open Chris has had
arms.
that complaint for a while.
Open arms.
No.
I hear what you're saying, and that is frustrating. Although I do like some of the deluxeified versions they've done, like the Castles of Burgundy one. Fantastic. I can see where you'd be upset though, because they just they re-released an anniversary edition like a year before the deluxe version, and that got a lot of people. So
I have one of those. It was the 20-year anniversary, and then they did the first fancy one, which the recent one, sure, it's amazing, it's beautiful, and I would have backed it. I just would have liked to have backed it before I had 3 other versions.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it, but the companies, they got to make money, and sometimes you have to reprint your game to get it a new life to it. So, like, I get the criticism, but I mean, good money sense. Like, sometimes you just got to do that. You can't just let your game die on the vine. And this is the hobby that we're in. Like, the hot new release is what's going to get played. Look at Endeavor. Andy for years was like, Daniel, play Endeavor with me. And I was like, no, I don't want to. It looks like garbage. And then they re-released it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll play it now. And all of a sudden, everyone's playing Endeavor. Like sometimes you have to kind of get new, fresh blood into the system. So I don't know.
And the thing is, too, is sometimes they tweak the mechanics and they make it a little different, which
Yeah.
also helps. It's like taking something good and making it better, like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Now,
Did you just say
another
they would
one
make
where
it
they
better?
failed?
Absolutely.
Couldn't have made it worse.
But I think another game that proves my point, and I think Daniel's going to agree with me here, but
Mhm.
like Ethnos. Yes, everybody agrees the first Ethnos is ugly. I'll
Yes.
give that to you. But the new Ethnos, even though it's one of my themes that I love,
Yeah.
when we played that,
Asian.
I know Ethnos so well. Playing that game, the fact that they removed the script on the cards and was a crap ton of symbology, and then what is it? Was it the purple didn't
Purple to
match the
gray.
purple? It
Yeah.
looked purple and gray. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
That didn't get caught through production. So, like,
Ugh.
all of that just, ugh,
Yeah.
gross.
I don't get angry very often when playing games about like the way the game is presented. Ethnos, that new edition, literally made me upset. I almost like just halfway through the game said, we're putting this away because of how more cumbersome it was because they made it look more pretty. They did not think that one through. Oh, I know, Chris. I know.
Well,
What?
and
It hurt me to say
Come
it
again?
too.
that Ethnos was technically the third version because they had Archaeos Society too, right? That was
Yeah.
a reskin of it.
And Archaeo Society is a bad example of a retheme because like why did they change the game? The game was wonderful. It was the
it was a great
bad.
fantasy themed game.
Yeah. And then they were like,
I'm all about the OG Ethnos.
Yeah. I mean, I might be now, but I'm still going to buy the new, and I did because I want expansions because I like it enough that I want more content. So there you go.
Make your own.
There you go. Making it own. I'm going to use my 2 rooms and a boom cards.
I'm going to make a race of grognards.
That's right.
It's just going to be Chris's face.
All right. Well, Andy, we had some other things, but it's running long. Let's go ahead and take us out. Wrap this down.
All right. Well, that's right. Thank you for joining us here on Around the Board. We love having you here, and hope you will like and subscribe and join us for future episodes. And feel free to dig into some of our past stuff, too. You can find us online. We've got a Facebook group, Around the Board. You can also check us out by mail at aroundtheboard.net. So reach out to us, either of those. And I think we're dabbling in other social media from time to time. Not as heavily, but we're there, too. So look for us, Around the Board Show, in lots of different places. That's our YouTube channel, Around the Board Show. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Around the Board.
You never know if he's going to say it. Every time Andy talks, I just think this. We're doomed.
It's true.
We're doomed.